Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here
It's
with you,
actually
Tom.
my pleasure. I want to start by saying that I've thoroughly enjoyed taking the listening journey through your compilation of works. Especially enjoyed your collaborations with Carlos uh, Garcia and Joel Silva. That sort of brought out that musical vibe for me while I was listening to the music. I had it on while I was writing the questions for you. Um, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So, what I'd like to know is, has music always been a central theme in your life? When did it start for you? And, what made it so? What made it that central theme?
Super central because I was born into music. My dad is a musician, a very important teacher here in the Lisbon area. So he taught a lot of professional musicians nowadays, and music is a part of my life. The first memories I have, they're accompanied by music. So yeah, it's super important.
And I recall from our conversation that you kind of, one of your first instruments was a mahogany drum, not a red drum, mahogany drum, and it seems to be a central theme with jazz musicians that their life starts with a red or mahogany drum. So apart from the bass, what other instruments, and I guess apart from the mahogany drum, do you play? Is the bass your favorite? Do you have a secret love, something that nobody knows that you actually enjoy playing more than the bass? And can you share what that instrument is if you'd like to?
Well, I mean, I love music, right? So I think when I listen to sound a certain instrument, I usually get in love with that, with the sound, right?
Right.
The bass is my favorite instrument. I have like a second and third love. The drums, of course, because I grew up playing small grooves by ear,
Okay.
and the piano is an instrument that I still want to learn. So I can go to the piano and just compose with the piano, create some simple stuff, but I would really like to be able to play piano like in a proper way.
Right. Have you taken any cues, or has Carlos approached you to say, "Hey, I can show you some riffs. I can show you how to sort of cheat on the keys."
Well, to cheat, I think I do it myself. You know, I find my own. So, but Carlos is Carlos Garcia. He's such a talented and busy pianist that he doesn't have time for me, unfortunately, because he's an amazing teacher.
Well, he's an amazing player because, as I say, I've watched the collaborations you've had with him and Joel, and seeing how he plays, I thought maybe he would be the individual that you would be able to draw some inspiration in the way that you play, because the way you play your bass is very similar to the way he plays the piano. It's an embrace of the instrument. And what I wanted to ask about that is, I have watched you play, and you do embrace your instrument. It's almost a relationship you're having with it. I've seen other bassists play, and they play it as an instrument. You have something more special, more almost intimate with it, like you're coaxing it, you're urging it on. Can you talk a little more about that? How you play your instrument?
Of course. So I started playing the electric bass. But then, after my first approaches with electric bass, I started listening to Dave Holland, and then I started like watching some videos of him playing old VHS tapes,
Right.
and right away I wanted to have a double bass. So just the object itself, you know, I wanted to have that.
Right.
So maybe because it was an instrument I wanted to play so much, I wanted to have so much. I had pictures of double basses, old double basses. So it became love story somehow, but it's so difficult at the same time. So I
Mhm.
think it's really a love story. It's difficult, but rewarding as well.
Right. And do you have your own favorite personal double bass that you play and it follows you everywhere, it goes to your concerts, or do you have a set? Do you have a few that have different tones, different sounds that you want to bring with the music that you're playing?
So I have two basses. One bass just for rehearsals and something that I can take anywhere, and if it breaks, no problem. And then I have a more expensive, because the bass is a very expensive bass
Right.
instrument. So I have a more expensive bass that I use to play in gigs and to record. So yeah, it becomes a very personal object.
Right.
Yeah,
And is
and
yours
and
is sorry, is yours an antique? Is it like a Guanarian or is it a more modern built bass?
no, it's a German. I think it was made for me in 2017,
Nice.
by a German maker who lives in Lisbon. His name is Kai. I used to have an old German bass. The sound was just amazing, but unfortunately, the bass came to an end. You know, the life expectancy ended, so I had to I had to give it away. Unfortunately, because I really love that bass, and I have some great recordings with it. The sound is really great. So yeah, the bass has this feature that the sound you become the sound, and the sound becomes you. So it's a blend.
Yeah, and especially the non-electric, the acoustic basses, they have a depth to the sound, depending on the wood that's been used and the craftsmanship of it, that you can feel. And I know just holding one and you touch the strings, that you can feel the vibration within you as you play, as
Yeah,
opposed to some of the instruments where you can kind of get a feel for what the sound is doing, but with a bass, as the way that you play it, when you're embracing it, you must feel that vibration all the way through you, every string that you pluck when you're playing.
yeah, couldn't describe it better than you. Uh, the sound, the sound kind of changes the way you play. So if you have a different bass, it adds features to your playing, or it removes some features. So you kind of adapt to that. So the music also adapts to that. So it's such an amazing experience. It's nature at a certain point.
Yeah, and like I say, the way that you play, it's, as you said, a relationship with the instrument, as opposed to just playing the music. You develop a relationship, and if it's a new instrument, the relationship is like a start off first date where you're feeling it out and seeing, what sounds does it make, and oh, this is an interesting sound. I want to play this more. I want to get that out of you more. And like I say, the way I've seen you playing, it's as though you are coaxing. It's as though you are urging the music from the instrument, and one that you've played probably many times. You have a sort of an ease into playing because you know where the sounds come from, and something new, you'd be kind of going, where can I get a surprise? I want to see what I can pull out of this instrument.
Yeah, yeah, you describe all of these matters in a very precise and thoughtful way. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Well, thank you,
Everything.
thank you. It's I get it from watching, I get it from observing, and I've had my hands on a couple of instruments where I've experienced that, and I know that has to translate into someone who's playing and playing professionally, that they have to bring that into their music, because it would be something hard to avoid, that once you get the feel for it, you're involved in it. It's not just a mechanism; it's an involvement, a full body, and with music, it's soul as well. So your whole, yeah, the emotions and the soul that's captured within the sounds that you're making. If you're not feeling it, then the audience is not hearing it. So, as I say, listening to your music, you can feel it, you can hear it. So there is a really solid connection with your instrument, I can tell. What I'd like to circle back to is, given that you also have a desire to play or have other instruments that you enjoy playing, are we going to hear something in the future? Are we going to hear something new from you that has an involvement of other instruments that you're going to allow yourself to be, involved with. I don't want to break up your relationship with the cello. I don't want to, have a tryst going on, but
Well, I'm kind of getting ready to do a new record, like a groove oriented record, more to the funk jazz experience, maybe a little bit of the pop stuff going on. And I have a lot of beats in my head that I would like to record. So maybe the drums. Maybe I will record something on the drums, and that would be a first.
That would be excellent. I've had an interview with an individual before who put an entire piece together, and all of the sounds are his. So there's voice percussion, and there's body percussion that is himself recording himself as part of the music. So he had a feel for a beat, and he played it on himself, and he made voice percussion as well, as well as the music that he was playing. He's a guitarist, and there's a possibility you may meet him if you come to Ottawa for the Jazz Festival.
Oh,
we go
maybe.
to Montreal. He's actually out of Montreal, and it would be interesting to see, if you two sort of spontaneously collaborate on something. That would be really
great.
Be something magical, I think, for me to have that, because his work, your work, I see a combination. But that's for a future time. So you've had many collaborations. You've played with many great artists in your time. I mean, yourself as a great artist, but you've played with others in Lisbon, in other areas. And what was your favorite collaboration? And if you could choose, who would you like to collaborate with next?
So, because I grew up listening listening and watching a show that used to be recorded in the States. I think it was Late Night with Jules Holland. And the band was David Sanborn on the on the saxophone. You know that show. So there was this artist who went there, Ivan Lynch.
Okay.
And I kind of grew up like watching those shows. And 2 years ago, I had the chance to do a performance with him at the Coliseum in Lisbon.
Wow.
So that was like, okay, it's done. This is what I signed for.
A check on the bucket list.
Yeah, a check on the bucket list. So I think it's unfair to say that was my favorite performance or my favorite collaboration, because I've had so many, and so many of them were so important. But that one checks the mark. It's like the bucket list performance, or one of the most important. So yeah, maybe Ivan Lynch is one of those.
Okay. And is there somebody next? Is there somebody in your head that if you had the opportunity, you would jump on it immediately? Is there another checkbox in the bucket list that you're going after?
I don't know, because I just respect so many great musicians that if I had the opportunity to play with like someone I really respect and enjoy their music, I would do it. But I don't think I can mention any like particular name, But I mean, anyone from my sphere of work, my world, a musical world that I haven't, I would be thrilled to do something with them. So yeah.
Very modest answer. Very, very politically correct, that you're not picking a favorite and the other people are going, well, that's it, I'm not working with this guy.
But I'm not going for that. But it's very difficult. It's very difficult because I love music so much, and it's difficult for me to say. Yeah.
So of the choice, and I know I'm harping on an issue that you're trying to say, I don't want to pick somebody favorite, but of an instrument that you would like to collaborate with. So you're a bassist. Would your collaboration choice be somebody who's a pianist, a saxophonist, a trumpet player, a drummer? is there an instrument that in your mind this would be a phenomenal collaboration if it was just the two of us doing a piece of work? You know, that way you're not picking an artist, but you're picking an instrument.
Easier to answer. So there's this artist from Brazil. He's a very internationally famous. He plays the mandolin. I think it's the mandolin or
a lute or mandolin.
His name is Hamilton de Holanda.
Oh, okay.
So the sound of the mandolin is a very high register pitched sound, and then he plays with the drums, and then there's the bass. So everyone has a very concise and very precise bass to perform, you know. So that would be something I would go right now. Just pack the bags and I would go.
Well, there you go. So now we know we may have a name, but we definitely have an instrument.
Yeah.
So the other thing I've noticed about your work, it has an orchestrated quality to it, as though there's a lot of work that's been put into it ahead of time, but it also has this very free form kind of, we just did this on spur of the moment. You know, your music has that quality to it. So you sort of feel like, is this new? Is he just doing this on the cuff? And what I'd like to know is, which would you say you prefer more in terms of a style, orchestrated or freeform, just throwing it out there, getting yourself comfortable and playing without having any beginning, any end, just jumping into the middle of it?
Yeah, I think because the compositional aspect of creating music is so important for me. I think I couldn't live without the orchestrated part. Although the free form has always a say to the orchestrated part. There's always room for the improvisation part, but the free form is like the preparation, you know, is kind of magic for me.
Oh, okay. So for you, that preparation piece gives you the foothold to get in the door, and if you're playing with other individuals, if you're collaborating with groups that are individuals that can sort of take it and run with it, then you're comfortable to run, to adapt the music that you've begun with and take it and make it something new, make it nuanced, give it a different spin as the other people that are playing sort of start moving in a different direction.
Exactly like that. Exactly like that. And especially when you have like high performance musicians, guys or girls or whatever, people who really can dig in to the music you write, and they can create or they can make it their own, you know. So when you collaborate with people like that, the stuff you wrote, the stuff you prepared, it takes in like a all new dimension. So it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding.
Have you thought about doing some composition with mandolin in the back of your head, saying, here's mandolin, this is the bass music that I want to throw in with a bit of drum, but there's a mandolin piece that I really want to play? Have you thought about composing something like that and then allowing it to run with say Hamilton, maybe, perhaps?
Well, you know, I've been writing a lot of piano, and not a large ensemble, but like more than the trio, quartet, quintet, sextet, that I haven't really created anything for like reduced set, like a guitar, drums and bass. So the mandolin would fit into this whole thing that I haven't done and I want to do.
Oh, fantastic. And do you prefer composing or playing? I know we've talked about that before. The compositional component where it's in your head and you're putting it on paper, or do you prefer actually taking that music and doing it live, getting out there and caressing your cello, pardon me, not cello, bass? You're taking your bass out and allowing it to sing. Which is your preference?
Well, because I compose to play, it has to be the stage part.
Right.
If I don't go on stage with the music, I really haven't learned how to do that. Like to compose and let it be. You know, someone else does it.
Right.
I haven't even thought about it. So I guess the playing part is really important. I
So
wouldn't leave that.
so for you, there's an ownership to the music where you feel I've put this together. I have to be the one that takes it out and gives it air, because if it falls flat, it's on me. If it goes really well, it's on me. This is my voice. This is my soul. I don't want somebody else to take it and run with it because they don't know me, my soul, the way
Oh
I
no,
want this to sound. Is that how you
no,
feel about the music that you
no,
compose, or?
no, 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 no. Sometimes I have some of the musicians I work with. They pick up the stuff I write and they play it,
Right.
and it leaves me like with the heart full. It's like what's the best compliment you can get? Like a fellow musician, he says, "I love your music. I'm gonna play it with my trio, with my bands. I want to record it."
I see. Okay.
So it's an amazing compliment. So I have zero problems with that. But when I compose to play.
I see.
So yeah,
But somebody else taking it, you have absolutely no concerns. It's actually a compliment to your work.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually not mine, the music. If you think about it, it's not mine. I just put a puzzle in place. So yeah, play my music, no problem.
Fantastic. So I've listened to both your solo works and your group works, and I found that your solo work is almost introspective and thought evoking, right? But it's like inviting the listener to comfortably share a piece of you, right? That's your solo pieces. Whereas your group work has a different vibe. It's like a conversation, as we've said before, and as I said when we were talking before, like a conversation in a cafe. It's alive, it's organic, it kind of moves, you're dynamic, you're drawn into the conversation as a listener. Do you enjoy solo work more, or do you enjoy performing with a group?
I think I enjoy the group performance a little bit more. Maybe because when I compose, it's very common for me to write music for a certain musician. Like I'm writing this piece because I want like Jose, the drummer, to play it because I know it's going to be amazing, right?
Right.
So I think the group feature is also amazing, and I prefer it. Yeah.
Well, as I said, I've watched both, and when you are doing solo work, it is, like I say, it's very introspective. And seeing you with collaborators, you are dynamic. You see a different vibe to you, as well as, and to be able to see that in a performance, it's it's maybe watching choreographed dancing, or like I said, going into a cafe, a live Lisbon cafe. I'm seeing people interacting. That's how I see the music that you play when you're working with somebody, and I can see that you are enjoying the experience. And we won't talk about the piece that you've sent me, because I want to listen to that one myself and see if there's a difference in the conversations that you're having. um, so now let's switch gears from your bringing music to the world and look at your fans. So you have a fan base. How do they respond to your music, and how do you respond to them?
Well, I think I tend to be like a bit of a, or I turned out to be, because I play music and do music for such a long time now. But I turned out to be like a little bit of a over humble person when it comes to perform, and so I'm always very surprised when someone comes to me and say, I loved your playing, I loved your music, and it's always a great surprise. So I think I receive it. I receive that with surprise. Yeah. So yeah,
So
that's
you have definitely have humility. I know from our conversation previously that you are a humble individual, but at least you're gracious enough to accept it as compliment and you're not self-deprecating where you think, no, 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 I'm not that good. I'm not that good. Although you did say you'd like to be the worst person in the band. You did say that to me.
That's true.
And I understand that from the perspective of you get to learn from better peers that, or at least you feel they're better peers. Listening to the music, I would say you're equals, but having the perspective of I can learn more is a really great way of interacting with individuals, that you take the best from them and you apply it to yourself and you're continuously growing. And that's a good thing. So I would never, I know you're not going to stop doing it, but I would say don't stop doing that, because it does make you a really, really good player. The music that you play. What about nervousness? Are you ever nervous when you go on stage? Do you ever have butterflies in your stomach before you perform?
So it's I think many musicians have this answer. If I go into a small club with maybe 15 people watching the concert, I get a lot of nerves. Like I get very nervous, you know. Because it's like they're right there. They're watching every movement you do. If I go on stage like for Rock in Rio, where you have like thousands of people watching, it's like zero.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So the smaller the group, the more nerves that you have.
Yeah.
And how do you get past that?
So for me the key has been reviewing all the first steps that I have to do to get the concert started, you know. The first 2 minutes, the first part of the song, I usually review it in my mind so that I can approach the music feeling very well prepared. So this helps a lot, and also trying to relax, you know, like some movements and some breathing exercises if I'm really nervous. And usually it works very well.
Well, you don't seem nervous now, and it's only you and me. So, you know, the smallest group you've ever had to play in front of, although you're not playing, we're only having a conversation.
That's true. That's true. And I didn't do any exercises.
Although you did. Maybe you were breathing before we came on.
Yeah, maybe.
So your earlier work, I've listened to some, and your new pieces. How would you say that your earlier work has influenced your new work now?
Well, the learning curve, you know. I think the quality of the music is there from start.
Right. And that's from age 17. I mean, you were professional from age 17.
Yeah. I'm 40 now. So it's such a long period of so many different bands, so many different concerts, travels, a lot of stuff. But the early works, at least the ones I did as a leader, I think it's the learning curve. What I learned to do better. I think I used to play a lot more notes, a lot more stuff than I play now. Right. I think I've started to learn how to be a little bit more like self-contained, you know, like to play the essential, the good parts, and leave the less good parts in silence. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's my conclusion in terms of my own work. In terms of collaboration, well, I've played with a lot of people, so I've been learning since day one of my professional career.
Right.
So if a young musician has the capability to absorb, like they have like a huge potential of great musicians and people giving them lots of information. So that's what I took mostly.
Well, that's a good lead in to this question, which is something that I ask everyone that I speak with: is what is the best advice you have ever been given, and who gave it to you?
Yeah. So to be prepared for the work you're going to have to do, because you only have one chance to create a first impression.
Right.
So if you're really super prepared, if you practiced your chops, if you know the music you're gonna play really well, if you have the chance to do it by heart, then you'll create an amazing first impression. So I think that's the best advice I can give to a young musician or any musician.
Okay. And did someone give that to you as well?
Well, many people, you can open books about music, and this is an advice that it's written in words, right?
Right. Yeah.
But then someone comes and tells you this, and you take it as something new, as something you never heard before. So there was a person who told me this, and his name is Victor Zamora. He's an amazing pianist. He's from Cuba,
Mhm.
and he lives in Portugal since the early 2000s. And he told me this, and it made sense.
So for him,
it's more about,
yeah. So him telling it to you, it came from an authentic, a real place, and that's why it impacted you, as opposed to it just being words in a book or somebody just repeating somebody else's words. When Victor told you this, it was he's saying it, and it makes sense because he lives the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's also the definition of a master, right? When you get when you get information from a master instead of someone who just replicates the words, so you get the full experience. It's like, okay, you just have no words. Okay, done deal. I'm gonna do it from now on.
Perfect. So your latest album dropped in October. What's next? What's coming up from Cicero Lee?
So next, it will depend on my mood. I have the power to do it within my will, right? So it's great. I'm independent when it comes to creating music. So I do it for myself. I self-release. I have an agreement with a label, but I can do whatever I want. So either something like a solo work, playing the acoustic and the electric bass, because I didn't do it yet. Or like the second volume of the album, Those Who Stay, because it's a large group, and I would like to do something with those guys again. Or the jazz funk groove stuff. So I think I'm gonna wait for the holidays to decide.
Have the holidays and then come back with something. You'll maybe be inspired. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you have to do the drum solo. You have to
have the drum solo.
Your second love, and we won't tell the bass that you're doing this, but
please don't.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, but right now I want to offer the listeners the absolutely very talented Cicero Lee with Brooklyn. So I want to thank you, Cicero, for taking the time from your demanding schedule to speak with me today. I'm definitely looking forward to your next endeavors and hopefully seeing you live in the future. I would really, really enjoy that. I hope you stay safe. I hope the weather stays sunny in Lisbon. And possibly we'll see you at the Ottawa Jazz Festival in the coming year or so. You never know.
Oh, that would be amazing. And amazing was to have the chance to talk to you. I want to thank you and your producers for having me, for the invite, and many successes for your program and the Easy Jazz. So thank you very much. It was a great pleasure.
The pleasure's mine, the honor's mine. It has been a joy speaking with you and seeing you for the first time. So hopefully this will not be the last. Hopefully that this conversation will continue.
Hopefully. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cicero.
Bye-bye.
Bye.